Hey, how's it going? This is our Friday night stream. We're going to wait for some people to get here. But this is what we will be playing tonight. It's what I've been playing pretty much the last few weeks. It's the Epic Storm version 6.6. This week I've done something to spice up my videos and the stream, which is introduce ads during downtime. So now seems like a pretty good time in order to introduce these. So, for example, I'm going to switch screens. We are now looking at one of our ads. This is for theepicstorm.com/shop. At the shop, you can obviously buy everything in the image. The Storm 20 baseball tee is one of my favorite items in the shop. It's super soft, fits well. Yeah, it's a high-quality shirt compared to the other two. The other two are your standard t-shirts. The Storm 20 baseball tee is really, really nice. The pint glass as well. The tokens are a hot seller. Alright, so we're still going to wait a little bit, see if we can get some people in here before we actually start playing matches. For those of you that are in here, say hi. Alright, it appears that I am in here all alone. One thing you may notice is I have a new setup behind me. So I purchased a green screen this week with a recommendation from Anurag Das, as well as some professional lights. One of the issues with the lights, though, is it's a 2-in-1 pack, and one of my electrical sections of the lights does not work. It is not the bulb. It's actually the part that you screw the bulb into does not work. So I'm currently operating on one light, which is not ideal. But it is what it is. It still works. Like, I think this looks fine. It's not terrible. And I think this looks a little bit more professional. I'm going to switch to our previous setup from before. As you can see, it's fine, but I think that this is a big improvement. Meal Solutions, we are in fact live. Does anyone have any questions while we wait? I see what you did there, Alex. Yeah, thank you. My fiance bought me a Blue Yeti microphone for the holidays. It was a pretty awesome gift. I've been working on improving my streaming/recording quality over the last couple months. The microphone was a very big pickup. Just want to make everything seem a little bit more professional. Okay, well, it looks like we have about 10 people in here. I think I'm just going to start hopping into gameplay. If that's alright. If anyone has any objections, let me know. But I don't imagine that will be the case. Alright. So we're going to play some Legacy. I've been playing a lot of Modern this week before we hop in. So play points. I started, once they introduced play points, I already had enough for the monthly or the quarterly challenge. So I've been working on grinding Modern in order to get up to those 35 points. I've been playing a lot of Modern this week. There's a lot of light up the stage decks, which are not good for Modern Storm, so it's been kind of rough for me. I've had some vintage points just from doing well in the challenge that I played in. But enough of that. Let's play some fucking Legacy. Dom the Kid, yes. I don't even think I've played Legacy since the points reset. It's good to see Eric back on top where he belongs. Not using fake names, I see. Wow, we are blessed with Bobbert Huang here. Everyone, say hello to Bobbert. Hey Josh, how's it going? Saburo. I've apparently played this person before. I don't know if I beat them or not. Let's find out. I've faced them 4 times. Looks like they play a lot of Delver decks. Alright, well, this hand is trash. We're going to ship this. Without an initial mana source, this hand just isn't keepable. If this had any mana source at all, I would snap this off. And we will try this. Rain of Filth is garbage. Especially in a deck that wants to win on turn 1 or 2. Hey man, how's it going? We don't really need this Lotus Petal, but we're just going to fetch up a basic swamp anyway. Yeah, Dom, check the homepage of the website, or the card choices pages. Everything is explained on the website. I'm not too bad, man, and they are in fact playing the Delver. Lots of stifles and dazes. We're going to... I actually don't know what the right choice is here. It's between Daze and Pyromancer, so if we draw LED, we could in theory empty for 8 next turn. Delver might actually just be the right choice, because Young Pyromancer is a little bit slow. Let's do that. I think I like taking Delver here. Probably could have played Delta there, just so that way if they decided to fetch, we could search up a red source in response. So by playing this Volcanic Island, we knew that our opponent drew a land. LED was a fine pickup. But once again, we are in no rush in order to fetch. So our opponent's probably going to play the other Pluto Delta right now, I would expect. Or they could keep on showing us cards that we don't know about. I probably should have fetched in response to that. I was a little hasty on my clicks. Alright, so we're going to fetch now, and if they stifle, that's fine. Oh no. So now we will dress them. Alright, we can play around this Daze, it's not a big deal, so we're just going to take the Stifle. How's everyone doing tonight? Well? Here comes the true name. So this is actually going to be a pretty tight race. Ritual is pretty good there. So we cast Ritual plus the island is 4, 5 with the Lotus Petal. Down to 3. We're short. We can't Past in Flames win. We can empty for 10, which is kind of weak. 12 if they Daze. 12 would probably win. What do you think, chat? Do we just go for it? So what we could do is we could set up a line where we just play Lotus Petal into Burning Wish for Past in Flames, and then we could try to win via Past in Flames later. The downsides of that is we don't really have a whole lot to work off the Past in Flames, which is kind of why Past in Flames sucks in TES. Or we could get Petition. The downside with Petition is we would have to draw a mana source next turn to allow us to win through the days in their hand. And we would be casting Ad Nauseam from 7 life, assuming that we draw a mana source. So yeah, I kind of agree with you, man. I think we should just cast it and hope that they play days. So you cast Lotus Petal first. I mean, it's just a good habit to have. So if you do this, what happens is this way they have no chance to destroy the Lotus Petal or the Lines on Diamond via like Abrupt Decay or anything else that's silly. Crack for red. And due to the days, we have to grab empty. If they did not have days, we could get Dark Petition for a guaranteed more storm. It's just not the case here. It's probably going to be a close one. I kind of would have expected our opponent to swing with True Name there. Alright, so there's no point in casting any spells for what it's worth. Casting spells just means that your opponents can counter in order to gain more tokens. That's one way to get a blocker. Just going to fill in my spreadsheet that they are, in fact, playing Grixis Delver. So based on the game state, we're probably not going to win just off goblins here, but that this Empty the Warrens is a huge pickup. Our opponents already used 3 copies of Stifle, so what we want to find is a red source so we can empty. All right. So there's no point in casting Brainstorm here because there isn't a single card in the deck that you could draw into that would allow you to empty this turn. Okay, and now we will cast Brainstorm. We're a mana off. So we're just going to play defense and not swing, so that way our opponent can't attack us with the Pyromancer, which buys us an extra turn. So I think we're supposed to attack pre-combat here. This way they don't get a free blocker if they happen to have a counter spell. I believe we're still just dead, but if for some reason our opponent screws up, this line gives us the opportunity in order to win the game. Hello, Captain Asia. How are you? Alright, so our opponent correctly saw the line of just killing us. Alright, we lost game 1. It happens. Alright, so we are going to be on the draw. And sideboarding for this matchup is pretty simple. You're just bringing in more copies of Empty. It's one of the best cards in this matchup, and you are taking out tutor effects. So, I normally like to split 1-1. Against Stifle lists, it might not be a bad idea to just take out 2 copies of Burning Wish and leave the tutor. So that way, this way you can pretty much guarantee you can search up ad nauseum. I probably like that a little bit more. It's just a little bit risky because Surgical ends up being a lot better against you. We're going to try this out. Seems solid. Cast this Ponder. And I like all of these. We know that these are both the sideboard copies of Empty the Warrens because the main deck Empty has the original artwork as seen up here. I do this so I know which Empty I draw. Our opponent might have a Surgical. So we can't afford to get that countered, so I'm just playing that out first. Alright, if they have a Surgical, I'm just going to eat it. We're not going to win that game by making 8 goblins instead of 10. It doesn't necessarily help me, Captain Asia. What it does is it lets me know I don't track the empties that I draw, but it does help me in the fact that I know which ones I'm drawing sometimes, so that I gauge on how many I actually need in the sideboard. Because for some lists, I'll shave down to 3 copies of Empty instead of playing all 4. And I'm just going to hold this copy of Badlands. There's no reason to run it out. We might be able to get them to Thoughtseize us or Wasteland the wrong land or something like that. Marsh Casualties, that's rough. Alright. Let's fire off this Duress. We want to draw an Infernal Tutor now. 2 copies of Daze. Well, Surgical is not that big of a deal because we only have 1 Empty left in our deck. I'm going to hold this copy of Chromox. I actually lost to someone boarding in Grafdigger's Cage not too long ago. It happened during the challenge. I thought it was a little bit strange, but I guess theoretically we do have a Pass the Flames on our 75. Alright, so far we've drawn a lot of blanks. After this turn, we will have 3 more turns, assuming that our opponent doesn't bolt us or play another threat. Alright, I'm just going to hold the land. Don't want to give our opponent perfect information. Plus, we could always put it back on a brainstorm or something. Alright, that is not great. So at this point, our opponent probably has something to interact with us, which is unfortunate. We saw 3 Stifles game 1. Force of Will would also do. Flusterstorm would kill us. We might be able to beat Flusterstorm. But like Stifle and Force both just win them the game. And that'll do. So we are starting the stream off 0-1. Queue up the next match. And while we are waiting for our next match, I have made some ads this week for theepicstorm.com. You can see the Epic Storm pint glass with John Rowe's recommendation. And or testimonial probably would have been a better word for that. You can get your own pint glass at theepicstorm.com/product/etched logo pint glass. I've made a bunch of these this week. So one thing I'm currently trying to do is get up to 1,000 YouTube subscribers so I can start monetizing our YouTube videos. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. It appears that Cardboard Live is not on my stream. I set up the Cardboard Live the other day, and it is not showing. Sure, Captain Asia, ask away. I do not know enough about Twitch to find why it isn't working. Probably not. I've been playing a lot of Modern Storm this week, and there's been a lot of burn. And burn is not very good for Modern Storm. If Amulet takes over as the best deck, Storm will be fine. But Storm has a really tough time with Burn, and if that becomes one of the most popular decks, you're in a very, very rough spot. And it looks like we have our opponent for round 2. And I will update our record. 15 Stepper. I believe I've played against this person before. And we are on the play. Death and Taxes and Infect are the decks that they've been known to play. This hand's probably fine. Play out the island and pass. We cannot actually generate enough mana to play empty this game, so, or at least this turn, so there's no point in playing out anything. You might as well just hold it. Preordain. So Preordain usually means Ant from this deck because not too many of the Grixis decks play Preordain. They can, it's just like it's not normal. So I would assume that our opponent's on Ant. Okay, so this means that we can in fact empty right now. The question is, do we want to? Hi, Blizzard Wizard. Yes, I have. So what we could do is we could play Lotus Petal or Chrome Mox and then tutor up another copy of Dark Ritual. The problem is if you play the Chrome Mox route, you have to imprint your Infernal Tutor and then cast Tutor, which leaves you with nothing. So I think our best odds are actually just empty. Hey, Blizzard Wizard, if you have questions like that, check out theepicstorm.com/card choices. Alright, we're just gonna jam. Hopefully 14 goblins will be enough. Captain Asia. I found the surgicals to be really underwhelming in general. So I have no idea what our opponent's playing then. Blue-black deck that just concedes to an empty. Chat, what do you think they're playing? It could be Leger's Show and Tell deck, but I don't think that they would concede either. Maybe it is just Grixis control. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do in order to get Cardboard Live to start showing. I set it up the other day at work, and it is not currently showing on my Twitch. I should probably sideboard still. Chat, what do you think they're playing? How are we going to sideboard? Tell me. Alright, so people seem a little split. I don't think Grixis Phoenix would concede either. I'm currently inclined to just leave our deck as is. Hey, is Cardboard Live working? I see the icon now. I just don't know if... Alright, is it showing you the deck list? Alright, I'll shut up about it then. This hand is okay. Wish one of these Chromaxes was a land or a Mox Opal, but this is fine. And our opponent is mulliganed. All our opponent ever plays are cantrips and Underground Sea. Would be kind of funny, though, if we managed to kill our opponent right now and never got to find out what they were playing. But that will not be the case. So we're going to start off with this Chromox. We're going to imprint the Dark Ritual and then play a discard spell. The Dark Ritual isn't crucial to this hand, so I think it's fine to imprint. Turns out they're just on Grixis Delver and decided not to daze that, which is a little bit strange. They did not shuffle. So I'm almost inclined to take the daze here. Chat, what do you think? Daze or force? Hey, Cooldown Max. Yeah, Max Opal's been great. If I could find a way of playing all four, I would. I just think that the deck is short one playable artifact. Alright, chat, give me some advice. Do you take Daze or Force? Well, they have a blue card on top, but we have a Thoughtseize. Alright, we're just going to take the Force. We are currently a mana short of playing around Daze. I think I'm just going to pass. Hey, Brandon. Welcome to the stream. Don't be an asshole. That ritual was very good. Hopefully our opponents continue to draw nothing. Well, we can play around both of these now. So what it comes down to is if our opponent drew like Fluster Fluster or something along those lines. We're going to take this Daze because the Force does not matter. So if we play Ponder here, we're almost guaranteed to find something to imprint off this or a land. So it's literally just a free storm count. We'll imprint Brainstorm. Hold Control, cast Tutor, and then add 3 red. I wonder why there's so much Grixis Delver online. Did it do well in a challenge recently? Hey, Anurag, there's like very little reason to shuffle there. Hey, Wilson, how's it going? Woot woot. Hey everyone, the founder of Cardboard Live is in our Twitch chat. We are blessed to have Wilson Hunter here. Everyone, say hi to Wilson. It was a turn 3 empty. We are now 1-1. Okay, we are facing the same opponent. Grix is doubled 3 rounds in a row. I guess we're just going to have to ban Daze because it's a crutch. This hand seems fine. Not too explosive, but it has some play to it. Okay, so we could Thoughtseize here. The issue is that if we Thoughtseize, we just got really, really hard by Wasteland. So I think I'd rather just pass Brainstorm on their end step, and then if they counter it, untap and Brainstorm again. They did not reveal. Sure. Take whatever you'd like. Why are you jealous of my green screening, Anurag? I'm only working with one light here. One of my lights did not work. So them taking Thoughtseize most likely means that they have a Forcible in their hand, which is fine, but we're not really doing anything right now anyway. So we might not want to be casting the Thoughtseize regardless, just because by the time we're ready to win, our life total might be very low. That was fairly medium. Alright, so we have the choice of casting Brainstorm again and seeing 2 new cards, or Thoughtseizing here. I think I'm inclined to cast the Brainstorm here, just so that way we don't lose to a Wasteland. I don't know if we're really gaining anything by playing the Thoughtseize right now. Like, we have a Brainstorm to spare, which is why I think it's probably a better line. If we didn't have 2 copies of Brainstorm in our hand, I'd probably lead on the Thoughtseize. This could be a Daze. Yep. And now we're going to get Wastelanded. You're too kind, Brandon. Too kind. Wasteland plus Force. We've definitely lost this game. So games like this, you want to look at Mox Opal and think, would this be better as a 8th discard spell or the 14th land? In this situation, a 14th land would most likely be better. So we would have missed on the first draw. We're just going to run this out. If they daze it, cool. Mox Opal's great. Anurag, it was the 14th land, which was honestly really clunky sometimes, and then a flex spot that was like 1 Cabal Ritual or the 8th discard spell. And it turns out our Brainstorm, had it resolved on turn 2, would have also missed. So that was just a shitty game. Alright, so we are going to sideboard. Easy. So I board for pretty much every Delver deck. Doesn't matter the difference in Delver deck, they are all the same to me. Anurag, it would be Delver Lives Matter. This is pretty sweet. We're going to try this. Yeah, I saw that the Braves were looking in on Machado. I don't think they're going to grab him, though. I don't think their pockets are deep enough. So we're going to cast Ponder and look for exactly Dark Ritual. And Dark Ritual will allow us to empty this turn. Boom. Okay. We have a Brainstorm on top of our deck. We're probably not going to cast it. We're just going to sit and wait. There's no reason to pay for days there. You don't really want to trade a resource for something that, like, their hand could just be all blanks. And you can beat a force most of the time with your hand anyway, when you have an empty. I probably was wrong to just jam the Ritual on turn 1, honestly. I probably should have just played the Dress. I should have drawn the land, then next turn emptied. Did not need another copy of Burning Wish. It's not looking good. Theoretically, yes. Well, we're playing 2 copies of Opal, so it also could have just been an 8th copy of a discard spell. It's a relatively small sample size to look at one match and just been like a 14th land would be better. Because there's a lot of times where having 14 lands actually just sucks. Okay, so can we win? Not this turn, but I'm trying to figure out lines of play in which we could actually end up trying to win the match. It's most likely going to involve Past in Flame, so we're going to get rid of the empty, and we're going to Duress this turn. And next turn we will Infernal Tutor for Rite of Flame, and the following turn try to draw a Ritual so we could actually do something. Alright, so we're probably dead to this Fork Bolt. Icewind was good. Yeah, I don't know. I would have expected them to either just like also just Flusterstorm it. Yeah, we've lost this one. 3 Grixis. We've also drawn like shit a couple games. Yeah, I'm not traveling to Jersey for a team event. Sorry, Brandon. I think in general, a lot of these team events have really shitty prize payouts. Like the Star Cities, second place is $1,000 a person when the entry is $60. Like, you're just not getting a whole lot of bang for your buck, and it's not a knock on Star City. I do appreciate that they still hold legacy events, but hey, and we're facing Brandon. Yeah, get fucking dead, Brandon. But it's just like, you really want to spend $60 at it? Like, even if you crush that event and get second place, you're getting $1,000. It's not a whole lot of return. I don't even know why Brandon's making us do this. He's clearly stream sniping, and we're just going to turn 1 him. So he should just concede now, and we can go to game 2. Wow, and then Brandon admits to seeing our hand. What scum. More like control for scum. Am I right? Brandon's a good guy. I like Brandon a lot. So, like, this would be a situation where, let's say this land was a Mox Opal, that would be better. So that's why we want the Mox Opal over the 14th land. Is like there's hands where you end up with additional lands, but you really just want another mana source on turn 1. And it really, really smooths out your ad nauseum. So like right now, we're going to have... how many? 9 initial mana sources here. So like we might not actually end up needing the Opal, but having the extra one in the deck does help. So like here you hit an Opal, it's better than a land. Especially if you end up having like a really bad ad nauseum. So I do know that Brandon plays Flusterstorm, so we're going to board in the Hope over the Empty. I don't know if he plays Surgical or not. All right. No, I wanted that LED. Exactly, Dan S. Oliver. It's Black Belcher. We have Land Grant. It's why he's playing Bayou. The ritual there is pretty good. We're actually not too far away from a Past in Flames win. And he misses his land drop. Okay, so we could Ritual Tutor. We have a black floating. Rite of Flame, Rite of Flame. That gives us 5 mana, so it's not enough to win. So I'm just going to cast Tutor here for another copy of Rite of Flame. We have a guaranteed win next turn. So I'm going to use Hope and Time Walk him, so that way he cannot kill us. Easy peasy. Sorry, Brando. Love you. We are now 2-2. Let's try to get our money back. TS leagues, or Black Belcher leagues, roughly 30 minutes per league, apparently. These have been going by pretty quickly. Dankcaster Mage. I wonder if he's friends with Chad, Dank Confidant. We are on the play. This seems fine. Get a brainstorm on their on step, attempt to empty on my second turn. While our opponent's deciding if they're going to keep or not, check out theepicstorm.com/shop. Buy your favorite Black Belcher merch there. As you can see, this goblin bought all of their Black Belcher merch at theepicstorm.com/shop. It's pretty sweet. Where's the easy matchup? Why can't just one of our opponents go plains go? Sure. If you want to buy a goblin costume. Alright, so we can't actually make red mana yet. So we're just going to play land and pass. Isle and Go likely means miracles, if I had to guess. Wow, Brandon's tilting off on our chat. Not a gentleman. Alright, so I'm going to draw through the brainstorm here and then fire off another. It's really close. What we could do is we could just put empty on top and then Burning Wish or Past in Flames, and then next turn try to win that way. It's just really bad if they have a back to basics or a counterbalance. Everyone be nice to Brandon. He's a good friend of mine. He's just a little bit of a whiny bitch. Spell Pierce. Yep. It doesn't make any sense to respond there, so we're just going to pass. And based on them having Spell Pierce, and obviously the Tundra, I would put them on Miracles at this point. Well, I mean, Max, it's a little bit rude if you're calling someone you don't know a whiny bitch, right? Brandon is a good person, I promise. I think, what's the take here? Is it just Jace? Could be Force, and that forces them to leave open mission briefing all game. There's it snap. Brandon, what would you take here? This is a really tough decision. I feel like it's probably Snapcaster Mage. Alright. I'm going to force them to cast Mission Briefing on the Spell Pierce here. Wish our opponent would play just a little bit faster. I know that we've used more of our clock than our opponent, but I feel like they're just taking a long time on things that don't actually matter. So now they're going to slam Jace. And then they're going to make 2 angels on our next turn, probably. So the question is, can we raise 2 angels? I would expect this to get forced. I just use whatever the generic Streamlabs setup is. I can restart voice meter. How's that? Is the audio better now? Alright, that should have fixed it. And they just put Terminus on top. Okay, then. And they have Entreat, so we're just going to scoop this one up. So here we board in Hopes. And you take out a copy of Chromax because you're boarding in 3 artifacts. You're safe to take out a Ponder and then a Rite of Flame. And the Rite of Flame is an optional slot. You could board out a discard spell because you do have now 10 interaction spells. So this would open up you to having Burning Wish or discard. But I think you most likely just want the interaction in your deck and not in your sideboard. Like, you are more likely to have a higher impact card in your opening hand than in your board, so I prefer to keep the discard spells all in the main. Yeah, voice meter has some issues. I've noticed it on a couple of my recordings so far that at some point it just like shits out and stops working for a while, so I might quit using it altogether. It does increase the quality of the mic slightly, but not by a whole lot. So if it's causing issues, I might just stop using it and accept that the quality's a little bit worse. Yes, it is in fact a Blue Yeti. It doesn't have anything to do with my microphone. It's literally 100% voice meter. These slow players. This hand's a little clunky. I think I'd prefer to just mulligan this. Like, we're not actually going to do anything meaningful here, so we're going to ship it. Much better. And we'll bottom. Alright, so we can beat the Spell Pierce if we draw a Lion's Eye Diamond. A Dark Ritual will not do here. Hope of Ghirapur, not bad. Hey Dave, how's it going? As far as the recording quality, I've never changed any of the default settings of Streamlabs OBS. So if it defaults to 720, I can try to change it, but it's not something I've done. Jeez, this fucking guy. Alright, we're just going to pass here. I'd expect this to eat a Spell Pierce. And if that's the case, why don't we just play this out? Like, losing Rite of Flame here isn't worth not having a Spell Pierce. Or not having a Ponder. Talking's very difficult. That's interesting. Did you another fucking Terminus? Alright. So we know that we have an Infernal Tutor on top of our deck. I don't mind just waiting a turn in order to cast this Brainstorm. They may not have the Tundra anymore. Fire this off. Don't mind the land. I think I probably want Underground Sea here. The additional Black Source will help if we can find a discard spell. These will not help us, so we're going to shuffle. It allows us to play around the Spell Pierce, but we can't beat a Forcible or a Flusterstorm, so you might as well shuffle. Dave, I don't think you're bad luck. I think our opponents are drawn very well. Like, we've had a pretty average draw, especially for a mulligan to 6. We've been doing fine, but our opponents just had everything so far. And if we cast Tutor here for a second LED, they're most likely just going to Surgical us, so there's no point in doing that. Our opponent has drawn a lot of lands for what it's worth. Alright, so do we try to Ritual Tutor Double Duress? Which doesn't allow us to play around Spell Pierce. I feel like they have to have a Surgical by now. We just can't afford to get hit by Surgical here. Maybe it was wrong to keep the Tutor in hand then if I wasn't going to do it, and I should have kept a Lotus Petal. So our opponent has Fluster in hand. You could tell by the way that they're pivoting on their lands. Hopefully we draw another copy of Hope of Giripur. That would be nice. Looks like we're getting hit by Surgical here. Targeting Thoughtseize. Okay. So I'm guessing they have Pierce, Fluster, maybe Snap, and then one unknown. I kind of wish that I took the Petal over the second Infernal Tutor, because I wouldn't mind just jamming into Fluster and checking them on another force. I guess we could do that. Puts him on a 2-turn clock if we cast the other ritual. They've already used 2 copies of Terminus. So they're going to copy this single Empty the Warrens for 5. We'll just pay it. The 2 goblins here is worth the turn. The only way that this hurts us if they get us on like back to basics, which we lose 2 whole mana sources, so like who cares? I guess it could bite us if they have another Fluster. That would be a reason not to pay. And they did not make the same mistake twice. So we know that they have Spell Pierce and X. I'd rather just not pay for any of these. Like, trading 2 rituals and an empty is worth 2 Fluster Storms. Looks like there's none on that one. Maybe I should have fetched. I think I messed up. Alright, so our opponent has 1 unknown in their hand after this. And now they have 0. So if our opponent draws a blank, we are guaranteed to kill them on our next turn. Oh, really? I didn't know that's what the 1 in 56 meant, Curtis. Thank you. I will start paying attention to that now. Do you have to... is that for all chests or that specific chest? Like, let's say it's 1 in 10 on a chest. Will it tell you that specific chest, or is it just for all of them? Alright, we're going to cast Ad Nauseam, or at least attempt to. We can draw our entire deck with this Ad Nauseam. What the fuck? That was really bad. Go, two goblins. So at this point, we still have 4 Burning Wishes in our deck. So those are pretty good here. We could Burning Wish for Past in Flames. They did not shuffle with their Ponder. Hardcast Terminus. That's what they're doing. Seems a little silly to me, but whatever floats their boat. Now can we just draw a fucking Burning Wish? It was not Burning Wish. And our opponent did not shuffle. So this can get our last fetchable land. There we go. It's a little bit funny at this point. So their draw now is probably going to be Snapcaster Mage and then Surgical or Burning Wish. Hey Dave, if you don't like cursing, you can leave my fucking Twitch channel. Oh, we're probably dead now. So theoretically, I could have played around Flusterstorm on the Ad Nauseam by not casting the... No, that wouldn't have worked anyway. Because that gained me a mana and lost me a mana at the same rate, so that doesn't even work. The turn that I played Opal into Ad Naus. All right. I'm just going to scoop this one up. All right, so 2-3 our first league, not so hot. So is Dave's dog a prude? Is that the issue here? Apparently I wasn't paying close enough attention. So how's everyone doing tonight on this wonderful Friday evening? It shocks me that other locations have legacy F&Ms. Like, I know I live in a smaller city of Syracuse, but like our locals barely fire, and never once have I even met anyone outside of the city of Boston that's had legacy F&Ms. So in general, one of the reasons I don't stream very often is I feel like I do get stream sniped. I mean, it happens to any streamer. It happens. It just like sucks, and it makes like your incentive for streaming is so low, where it's just like not worth it to me. And I'm not saying it happened during that league. It could have. I don't know, but I've had it happen a number of times where like people have made questionable decisions against me while I'm streaming, and it just like kind of turns me off to it. Yeah, Brandon, much cheat. Well, I think in general, non-top 32 Magic will be dying soon. It was rumored today. I don't know if there's any official announcements about how there will be no more Grand Prix coverage coming up, which will be pretty miserable because all of the coverage will be focused on the top 32 competitors. The sand is fairly solid. We will keep this. All right. We're going to fire off Duress here. I am going to get the Underground Sea because we're not guaranteed to have the mana for Ad Nauseam next turn. Burn. I complained last league, and now we get burned. So maybe the lesson is you should always complain about your matchups. All right, we're going to fire off Brainstorm here. Yikes. Okay, so if we put back Burning Wish and land... we can Adnaz. Or not Adnaz, empty. And I'm not going to use the Infernal Tutor because I want the top cards in my deck. That was improper sequencing. I should have played the Petal first. Like, our opponent's not going to punish us, but theoretically it could happen, and there's literally no reason to not play the LED second. So now we're just going to jab empty. And this should be good enough to win considering how slow our opponent's hand is. Rift Bolt. Alright, so our opponent next turn could theoretically go Firecraft into Fire Blast, which is only 8 damage. So they need like 1 mana burn spell, 1 mana burn spell, 1 mana burn spell, Fire Blast. I don't know if they can do it. Did I miss something? Oh no. For some reason I thought the 4 life off this was pre-Fire Blast. So we won game 1. That was an Empty the Warrens on turn 2. Alright, so for the burn matchup, we treat it a little bit different than any other matchup. We pretty much board in everything. We do leave 1 empty in the board. You board in Tundrils, board in all your bounce spells, and you board out Thoughtseize. Or I think you're supposed to, yeah, you board out all of these. And now you're at exactly 60. The sideboard was mapped to do this, so you're no longer an Ad Nauseam deck. You're pretty much just an empty deck with a backup plan of Past in Flames into TOA. What was wrong with the Tundra? This hand doesn't answer Eidolon, but I still think it's a keep. I didn't know Curtis had this affinity hate for Tundras. It's kind of funny. We revealed Tendrils of Agony. I guess that's one way of beating an Eidolon. I'm just going to ponder here. I don't want these, so we're going to shuffle. And there's the Eidolon. So we're just going to Echoing Truth on their end step, and then attempt to kill them on our turn. Okay, so now we can actually bounce the Eidolon pre-combat. So that way we don't take an additional 2 damage. We are dead if the last card is Fire Blast for what it's worth. I don't know if it matters if I do this pre or post. I guess we should let the Goblin Guy trigger resolve. It's an empty. And now we're going to bounce the Eidolon. So we're going to go to 2. So if they have Fire Blast, we're dead. We're also dead if we don't hit off this Brainstorm. Ritual was a good draw. Okay. So we get to play a land and Ritual. And possibly we can... Alright, I think we just have lethal. Ritual, Mox, Brainstorm. Put these 2 on top. Maybe put empty on top. I don't know. I'm just going to cast spells. That's what we're here to do. So we need to hit a 0 in order to kill right here. So we have an empty on top, so I don't really want to shuffle that away, which makes me want to cast the Brainstorm. Because I'd rather save the Ponder, just because I'm not going to shuffle regardless, so I'd rather just see... Okay, we got lucky. This is where they Fire Blast us. Cool. Why not? At least in this league. 500 on the night. Curtis, we could have had it if we tutored for Mox. I think the issue with that line is having enough cards to imprint. I could be wrong. Like, if you want to freeze that and send it to me, I'll take a look. But I think you're just like a card short of having enough mana for imprinting. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what this person plays, but this hand seems like a keep to me. In pretty much almost any matchup. And our opponent is mulligan to 5, which is not great for them. Okay. I believe you. All right, then. And we've lost this one. Realistically not beating this. So in theory, if our next draw is a land, we can cantrip into Burning Wish. This is the best Mull to 5 I've ever seen. Okay. So we're going to take out Ponders for Echoing Truth. And that's it. while we're waiting to start the next game, you can check out theepicstorm.com/shop. And you can get these sweet, sweet Epic Storm tokens. See what Anderson had to say about them. Game 2. It's fine. It's not amazing. If we had a guaranteed turn 1 empty, I'd probably like it a little bit more. But with this hand, I'm looking at the Burning Wish as an out for possible Chalice. Brainstorm's too high impact. Like, I'm not cutting... Like, even if you don't have perfect Brainstorms, Brainstorm just fixing, like, multiple Mox hands is way more important than anything else. Like, Ponder's pretty miserable in this matchup. Okay, so... That's interesting. They kept 7 and didn't play a hate piece on turn 1, so it either means that they have Trinisphere or a Sweeper in their hand. Well, we're definitely playing this. So... Our options here are we can get Dark Petition and then backdoor the Burning Wish for Polarize, or we can just do it now. The issue with the getting Dark Petition line is if they actually just have Trinisphere, we're fucked. But I also feel like they're really likely to have a Fiery Confluence if they didn't play Hate Piece turn 1. Yeah, I'm not trusting Zach Turgeon on how to play Storm. Nice guy, plays a lot of Dragon Stompy. I don't really trust his opinion on cutting Brainstorm. Alright, so I think I'm just going to go get Petition here, and then get wrecked by Trinisphere the following turn. Even if we get wrecked by Trinisphere here, you don't know that our opponent didn't have Fiery Confluence. And I feel like they're pretty likely to have a Confluence. Chalice on 2. So that means that we have to win with empty. And we can petition here. So it's worth noting that you cannot imprint this Chrome Mox, because if you do, you're cut off of Spell Mastery. Probably should have done a different color rather than black on that. So we're looking for 1-mana cards or just the natural empty. So like, we really want to find our Brainstorms. Alright, there's the empty. So now we're just going to discard our opponent's hand and then play empty. Legion Warboss is the final card. Alright. So it turns out a turn 1 empty would have done it. Making sure I didn't missee that. Alright, so we stole game 2. Up until recently, I was playing 3 copies of Echoing Truth on the board and 1 Chain of Vapor, so I could bounce a Chalice on 2 or a Prelate on 2, and I've kind of just given up on that. I've decided that if that happens to me, I will rather just accept losing than having a card on my deck that doesn't answer a Chalice on 1. So while we're waiting to start game 2, if everyone wouldn't mind, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or the Epic Storms YouTube channel. It's not just mine. You also see videos from Landon Swartz and Anthony Laverde. We're currently trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot to me personally, so please go to theepicstorm.com. I guess you could go there, click the YouTube icon, and then hit subscribe. Sure. Pauper. Maybe. If it was like a Pauper PTQ, like the event in LA, I wouldn't just play it for fun. I saw the Zubair deck and thought it was pretty sweet. With, I believe it would play Reap the Graves. Leyline of the Void. Uh-oh, we got a turn. So there's a pretty cool trick that you can do with Mox Opal that a lot of newer TES players do not know. And it's that when you play your third artifact, if it's a Chrome Mox, you can respond to the imprint and cast Brainstorm. I think we might actually have enough mana to cast Ad Nauseam through the Leyline here. Nope, we're 2 mana short. We are also 1 mana short of Petition. So I'm just going to empty here. Hope 18's enough. Not gonna block. So having Rabble Master back here is pretty important because it means that they can still tap Ancient Tomb once this game. So this could just be land confluence. Ah, fuck, it is. Womp womp. Our opponent is currently picking modes. It happens. It's part of playing Empty the Warrens. Like, sometimes your goblins get swept. Ooh, Scab Clan's real rough. Alright, we've lost this game at this point. I just want to see what our draw was. Because this draw would be if we decided to cast another Brainstorm that turn, which I don't think is the correct play at all, but if we had, this would have been the third card down. Which wouldn't have been enough to win. Or maybe, instead of needing both red-black, you just Brainstorm pre. Yeah, that probably would have done it. I still don't think that's the right play, though. It's just, like, super greedy. Okay. GG's. I've never even heard of who Niccolo is. I don't think I've played them before. Sweet, we have another opponent. Oh, they were the person that beat Anurag. I briefly checked in on that. I just didn't really pay attention to who beat him. What's funny about that last game is we actually lost because of the ley line. Shutting off Dark Petition. This hand is real sketchy. I'm gonna mulligan this one. Much better. So I'm going to lead on... Well, it depends on what our scry is, but assuming our scry is bad, I'm going to lead on Delta, just so that way next turn I can brainstorm and try to have a perfect brainstorm. Yeah, that island's getting put on the bottom. I know that doing this opens you up to Wasteland, but I'd rather just have an opportunity at a perfect brainstorm rather than playing around Wasteland. And sure enough, our opponent has Wasteland. But they're also playing this god-awful ninja deck that just, like, can't be anything other than combo. Cool. So to avoid spell stutter sprite, we're going to main phase this. That was not desirable. We're going to let's put Brainstorm on the bottom, and then we'll play out LED. So this way, if they cast a Thoughtseize, they just don't have any good targets. So with Mutavault, they can theoretically use Spellstutter to counter a spell that costs 2. And we're not under any pressure, so we don't need to start casting spells. That Thoughtseize was a good draw, though. So what we really want to do now is draw a tutor effect so we can start to win this game. Sure. So now they can counter a 2 with their spell stutter. Okay, so we're going to just discard Rite of Flame here. The Rite of Flame isn't doing a whole lot, and all the other cards in your hand are much higher power, even though you can't cast them. Alright, we're going to cast this to see if we can bait a counter. Hey Dave, they're on that really bad Blue-Black Ninjas deck. It's really good against combo, but like I don't think it could ever beat a dedicated creature deck. They now have Ophidian in play. That was a good draw. So their hand is all just creatures? Okay. But it looks like they have double spell stutter, which is going to be an issue. I wouldn't expect anyone to be familiar with this deck. Okay. So we're not dead if this resolves. But they still have another copy of Spellstutter. So we might as well try to get them to counter this. Wow, they let it resolve. I don't know if that's right or not. So we're going to start off with a ritual here to see if it resolves. And this should be a Spellstutter sprite. Yep. So now we need to hope that we've dodged our opponent finding a third copy of Force of Will. Which is entirely possible. They've drawn 2 cards with Ninja since the last time we saw, and then also played a Ponder. Yeah. Not too shocked by that one. Alright, so I don't really like boarding in Hope against the deck that has Spellstutter, Sprites, and Quicks. What I do think is effective is boarding into more copies of Empty the Warrens. And I think we just board like we're a Delver deck and we skim on tutor effects. So how is everyone doing tonight? You're not too active in the chat. Well, since we're sideboarding here, we might as well advertise this. The Epic Storm has its own sideboarding guide, and it has a printable sideboard guide, so that means that you can print it out, put it in your deck box, use it at events. It's how I sideboard, so if you would like to do something different, you're more than welcome. It's just a general guide for a lot of matchups. It doesn't have everything. Blue-Black Ninjas is certainly not on there, but it should give you a pretty strong understanding for general thoughts on how to sideboard. Dave, are you actually playing in the main event? I saw that it capped at 1,400 people, which is pretty small for a Grand Prix. Gotcha. I did see that they changed the side events to be only 3 rounds now, so that way they can fire more of them. My issue with that is that they didn't really improve the prizes at all. So, like, now you're playing for 3-0 and getting less prizes, and they didn't distribute that extra rounds of winnings anywhere. So, like, you're just paying more money to play more Magic and getting less prizes. So that seems a little bit shitty. And this is a keep. So I would expect it to get wasted here. I'd be a little bit shocked if they cast Surgical Extraction on O land. They let on pond or on sea. We could empty for a whole 4 goblins. It doesn't really seem like a winning line to me. So I'm just going to ship it. Hey Jeff, it actually is not the Epic Storm Pint Glass, which I have behind me, behind the green screen. This is a Mets glass. However, if you really, really would like one of those fine goblets, you can order yours from theepicstorm.com. So check out the sweet image of the pint glass with maybe an alcoholic beverage in there, and you can get one for yourself. So in an effort to play around days, I'm going to cast the Brainstorm now. And they shuffled off the Ponder. Fuck it, we're going to go for it. So, Jeff Clark, when I was talking to you about spicy burn tech when I've been playing Modern Leagues is, while we're doing this, let's go look at our Modern deck. Check out this shit. Platinum Empyrean Madcap. It's been working well for me. I would recommend it. In my local, I actually won a round because my 4th copy of my Echoing Truth is in my Legacy deck at the moment. So I played a 1 of Perilous Voyage, and my opponent never moored on Echoing Truth, and then played Ruined Halo and Grape Shot with double Ghostly Prison in play. They were on that shitty Monolith control deck, and having Perilous Voyage actually won me my match. So I thought that was kind of funny. Madcap's been good for me. I got aggro GG'd for the first time in a very long time playing Modern. I was at 1 life, resolved Madcap, put... that sucked. Put it into play. My opponent had 1 card in hand, but they also had like Grim Lavamancer and some other stuff. So they still have a Snapcaster, so empty's kind of bad here. Still think we're supposed to shuffle that. So they type GG in the chat, tap mana, untap mana, tap mana again, and then just smash the smithereens my Platinum Empyrean. I don't know. It just seems like really stupid to me. So they played the Snapcaster. No reason to just jam the dress yet. We're getting injured. Yeah, we've lost this. I'm just going to concede rather than slowly die to their 1-3. I'd rather just play another match. But going back to my Modern list real quick. So I'm actually not playing the Pieces main deck. I ended up cutting those. So I ended up adding it back in this. I added in... What else did I add? Oh, I added 1 more Bolt. I was playing 1 of Bolt in order to deal with more things. But also, there's been a lot of Grixis online recently, Death Shadow. So I wanted Bolt in the extra Grape Shot. So this could be your 8th bear, and that would also be fine. It could also be a Noxious Revival or like a Repeal. It's just a flex spot. I like Bolt because of the way that online's been trending. Ah, shit, I missed it. Yeah, I guess those were good games. Alright, so we need to win a couple in a row to get our 12 ticks back. Back to Legacy. And we are on the draw. This seems like a fine hand. I have no clue what's happening. Is this what happens in the 1-2 bracket? Your opponent's lead on Seat of the Synod? I have no idea what our opponent's trying to do, so if you know, feel free to tell me. Ritual's a pretty good draw there. So we're fairly close to being able to ad nauseam them. And we can definitely ad nauseam them now. So we're going to put these two back. And what's nice about this is that we'll actually be able to still have a land drop as well. And we do not have a 4 mana card in our deck, so we can ad nauseam as low as 2 life. Knowing my luck, our opponent will have Galvanic Blast in their hand. So it seems like empty isn't really what we want to be doing here. I don't know if they play Force or not. Or if they play Chalice of the Void. Guess I'll try just 2 Echoing Truths at first. I don't know. I don't know if this is a keep. I think it's probably a mulligan. Like, if one of these petals was an opal, I'd keep this. I think we have to go to 5. Okay. A little bit rough. Counters the first spell each turn. Okay. I'm just not going to cast any spells. So they have Ario and Chalice. I probably could have guessed that they had Chalice. So we'll cast this because it's going to be countered by the Ario and the Chalice. And then we can play out our artifacts. Damning's here. Oh, well, this blows. Alright, I'm not going to waste my time. Let's just go to game 3. And I think I want the empty back in our deck. Just because if our opponent's going to have this much hate, I don't know why they ad nauseam left, you'd rather just have a 4 mana line available to you. And I'm going to board out all of the Ponders. Okay. Sure. Not my night. Brainstorm is actually a pretty good draw here. So what we would like to draw now is a Infernal Tutor. Double Burning Wish is not bad. I just don't know if it's really what we want. This deck probably has Forcible too, which is really bad for us. They play enough blue cards where they could support it. Sure. So we're going to bounce the Sphere. We don't actually care about the Chalice. So we're going to cast this, see if it gets countered. And if it does, cool. But then we're going to cast another and then empty. Wow. It actually got countered. One of the cards in their hand is the Sphere, so it can't be Force Blue card. So we could look like idiots right now and get Dark Petition and then lose to this Tormod's Crypt, or we can just grab the empty. We're just going to grab empty. But it's also weird tonight that the Dark Petition in the board has come up twice, that it's just not Infernal Tutor. So like that stuff I always find very interesting. We do not want this to be Psy. Play out the Lion's Eye Diamond and just pass. Mishra's Bauble. Alright, so bearing something like Echoing Truth, we will be 2-2 in this league. Cool. hasn't been exactly the greatest night, but I feel like that happens when you stream. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. Even though people don't like to admit it, they definitely stream snipe a little bit. It's consistently whenever I stream that my results have been worse. So I do think it's some of that. Some of it is your focus is split, so I don't want to say it's just that. And I'm not trying to come across as salty. It's just like the fact of the matter is people cheat. Shit happens. It is what it is. I actually also like doing recordings and that I upload to YouTube because I'm a little bit more focused, and I think it leads to better content. Yeah, Jeff, 297. I don't know. You're like a week and a half into the league. I don't know what it is normally, but it seems like a fine number to me. Hey, Seven Proud. What do you mean the legacy bannings? As in, like, Death Rate Shaman and Probe? Hey, Jason Solo. There's a couple. Like, it's not like they were blatantly obvious, but, like, people can optimize their play if they know that you're streaming. And I think, like, people that chuck in after streams, like, right after they're done, likely do it. I'm not saying that they did. It's just like if they knew you were streaming, the temptation is there. Updating my spreadsheet. I realized that I had forgotten. They had Dampening Sphere, Chalice, Force. I don't... Ario. Whenever I face a rogue deck, I like writing down the cards that mattered in their deck. I don't really love this hand. Okay. I do think that Death Rate Shaman needed to go. It was just like a boon on the format. Probe, I can see why it went. I think that it probably shouldn't have gone right when it did. I think they should have tried to see what the format looked like with it still there, but it's fine. We're just going to lead on discard here. Once again, we are trying to hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers, so if you have not subscribed, please do so. We're currently sitting around 885. We need to get 150 more people. It would mean a lot to me and the rest of the people for theepicstorm.com that create YouTube videos. So please subscribe. Decent draw. We're going to take this Brainstorm. We can beat the Force later. Really close. I think we're going to keep this. Hello, Shelly D. I don't stream very often. I don't actually enjoy it that much, but I was excited that I had my new green screen up and running. So here we are. Also giving a little bit of love to our friends at Cardboard Live. So we know that we have a Mox Opal on top of our deck. There's a pretty good chance that we'll be able to empty next turn. Maybe I should consider brainstorming on their end step. And they missed again on their Delver. Yeah, I'm going to brainstorm on their end step because it means a land plus Opal here will allow us to empty. No, I will not unban Charlie Bickford. The last time I allowed him near my stream, he was very rude to me. Okay, so we're currently a mana short. So we'll put back... I feel like we almost just want to cast Ad Nauseam. So we're going to put these back, and then we're just going to search up Ad Nauseam this turn. Alright, so we're going to be casting Ad Nauseam from probably 9. Dave, he's a local to me. He thought it would be really funny to make a bunch of jokes about me in my Twitch chat a couple of years ago. About how my brainstorm was bent by Jim Davis. Pretty low bar for humor. And so that brainstorm missing was really bad for us. We get a second chance with a Burning Wish right here. Theoretically, we could get Past in Flames. I don't know if there's a single card we could draw that would really allow us to win. Like, theoretically, if we draw out Dark Ritual, we could Ritual, Past in Flames, Ritual, Tutor, and then, like, chain cantrips off the LED we get. But, like, your odds of winning this game are incredibly low. Yeah, we're definitely not winning this. I don't even know what I'm doing here because like there isn't a sequence of cards that allows us to win. I guess in theory it would be miraculous, but I could brainstorm into another LED and then cast ad nauseum and then win off 3 life. Okay, game 2. Yeah, I'm not really interested in Pauper. I think the only good thing Pauper has going for it is the fact that you will be able to play in 1 quarterly every quarter. So that way it's just another opportunity towards the Pro Tour. It just like doesn't seem worth the time investment to learn a new format and play something that just like doesn't matter. Be nice if we could win this, get my 12 ticks back. I might do one more league tonight. I'm just gonna take a quick break after this game, grab something to drink, and then I'll be up for one more league probably. See if we can burn a total of 36 tickets tonight. I think we have to mulligan this. It's going to be rough, but I think we're supposed to keep this. The LED is too important to allow it to be discarded to Thoughtseize or him, so you just have to play it out. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's kind of the stuff that I was talking about. I'm sure it happens to you too, Romario. Like, you just see a bunch of questionable plays and you wonder if you're being sniped. Like, I don't actually know if I am, and it doesn't matter because I'm not really, like, trying to gain anything out of streaming. But it just, like, kind of turns me off to being willing to do it to begin with. I'm just going to fire off this brainstorm. Hope it's good enough. I think burning a dark ritual is probably worth, because like you gain a draw step by being able to possibly shuffle away this Mox on the top of your deck. We know that our opponent has Goyf. Right, I'm just going to hope our opponent never draws a green source, because casting Thoughtseize gives them another turn. Spike Weaver? That's pretty ridiculous for Mario. I guess I just allow them to wasteland one of these. This is a genuinely bad matchup, so I'm actually not too upset that we're losing. Like, back in the day, I never beat Bug Delver. Daze him, Thoughtseize Force, plus a fast clock. It's just, like, not a good combination. Yeah, I mean, it still is Romario. I don't beat it very often. I think it's probably the best Delver variant at beating combo due to him. I stayed up until 2 working on a project for work last night, and then woke up at 6:30 to get ready. So I'm a little exhausted, but I'm going to try to stay up and do one more league. This a Gurmag? No, just really long Thoughtseize. Alright. Yep, we're dead. Our opponent skipped an attack step and they're still so far ahead that it doesn't matter. Alright, so that kind of sucked. We are 4 and 6 on the night, 2 2-3s. It happens. I mean, I wish it didn't, but it happens. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in just a few minutes. I'm going to grab a drink. In the meantime, enjoy one of these bad advertisements. And I am back. Romario, if you are still here, I do like the extra boxes. They've been really good. It's tough to say. I think overall the performance of them feels a lot better than those extra cards that I didn't really like. Like, Land 14 was never good. Like, there will be games where you're like, well, I kind of wish this Mox was a land. But, like, at the same point, if one of the two Moxes was also a discard spell, you're usually more happy that it was Mox Opal. Because, like, 8 discard is a lot in a deck that wants to win on turn 1 or turn 2. And 14 lands is also a lot of lands for a deck that wants to win on turn 1 or turn 2. So Mox Opal has been the sweet spot, I think. Yeah, SCG Syracuse is on my birthday, so it's pretty remarkable. I hope I do well. At least better than I have in this stream tonight. Yeah, should be a good time. I mean, the GP is actually not that close. It's like 2.5, 3 hours. I mean, it's still the closest GP I've ever had. Gun of Mercy. And we will be keeping this. I mean, Romario, didn't you literally have one in your hometown? Oh, this is Dave. So we're facing 4-color loam right now. So because we're facing 4-color loam, I'm going to pedal Brainstorm. It's actually not bad. Put the second wish on top of the deck. This way you can set up a pulverize if need be. Wow, so far away from your house, Mario? Oh, he's on Dredge. Probably don't want the second Burning Wish. That's really interesting. I think we're supposed to hide these. Wildeth Giant? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I have no idea what this card is. What does Undergrowth do? Anyone? What does Undergrowth do? Hey Lawrence, how's it going? Having a good night? So I'm pretty sure we're just dead next turn to... Yeah, because of the bridge, we're guaranteed dead. But even without the bridge, I think we were dead to the Icrid and one prized amalgam returning. Alright, so we know that the top card of our deck is Dark Ritual, and then we have a Burning Wish underneath. So part of the issue is that we can't actually do anything with these cards, and we're facing lethal next turn, so we kind of just have to cross our fingers and hope on this Brainstorm. And that was good enough. We can cast Ad Nauseam. Lucky. Let's just hope the Ad Nauseam is good. And we're going to float red mana, just because there's more black cards you can imprint. So far, so good. Let's see that LED. Boom! Got it. Alright, so we managed to steal a game we had no right winning. I don't really like empty in the deck, so you can board in like a one of Echoing Truth, I guess. Discard spells are really good in this matchup, so you want to keep all of those in. And Dave will put us on the play because he is on Manaless. So I do know that Manaless sometimes plays Force of Will in their deck, but apparently Dave has double Chancellor. So what we can do here is cast Ponder. So you have two choices, really. You could play out Petal and have it get countered, or you can Ponder looking for another mana source. Lotus Petal is a guaranteed mana source, so you should just cast your Ponder. And then we're going to play out these, just because it allows you to cast Ad Nauseam next turn while playing through a Mindbreak Trap. So you can just tutor Ad Nauseam, and they cannot Mindbreak Trap you. No need to even use that land, because we're going to draw a land that doesn't deal you damage with Ad Nauseam, assuming we don't get forced. If you get forced, you're going to lose that game whether or not you played the land anyway. Pretty good so far. One of the biggest things with Mox Opal is just having more initial mana sources post ad nauseum. Like, that's the really big difference, at least in my eyes. Cast a Ponder, why not? This theoretically gets rid of the Mindbreaker Trap he could have had. Oh, Mindbreaker Trap, boom. How about that? We played around Mindbreaker Trap successfully. Now I'm wondering if I'm supposed to play around another one, probably. It's kind of awesome. That was incredible. That's really funny. Well, we finally won a match. Did anyone else find that as entertaining as I did? Round 2. Sorry, Dave. So what do people think of the green screen? Is it high enough quality? Like, do the lines bother you? Does it look fine? I've tried to figure out if I can zoom out the camera at all, because like I can't actually move my arms that far or the top of my head. You can see the top of my head crops off. Negator, Tom Hep. Tom's a great guy. Yikes. This hand is so close. What do you think, chat? Should we keep it or ship it? Yeah, Jeff, I just bought mine on Amazon. It's an Elgato. I don't know if I should keep this. This hand might be just like too bad. Paper King thinks we should chip. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same. This hand is not good either. Okay. Our 5 is definitely better than either of the other two. Sorry, Tom. Only stuck with shitty cards like Chromax in our deck. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tom does here. Okay, so if Tom had played a discard spell there, we couldn't Ad Nauseam. But because he did not play a discard spell, we're going to cast Ad Nauseam. Spin that fucking wheel. Just like my mouse is doing. I also have an inside joke with Tom. I always used to put his deck as just Turbo Depths in my sheet and would drive him insane, so I switched it to Rogue, and he doesn't like that either. He thinks that there should just be a Bug Depths category, and I won't do it. Because it would literally just be like Tom and one or two other people. We just revealed double Chromox Pedal. LED. We'll stop at 4. What I love about Opal being in the deck is like it pretty much just guarantees that if you ever resolve Ad Nauseam, you're likely going to win. Cool. So, Tom's list has Flusterstorms, 3 Fluster, a Stifle, some discard. I don't actually like Bounce in this matchup just because he has Crop Rotation and Flusters. Like, it's just like not super effective. I would almost rather have Hope of Gyarados. And I think Dress is kind of bad, so I'm going to do this. What's nice about Hope is that it's almost a guaranteed blocker. So it can block Dark Depths and can't be hit with like a Sajiri Step. But it also shuts down Flusterstorm and turns on Mox Opal. I will be keeping this one, I think. This hand's also bad against discard, actually. Fuck it, we're gonna mulligan. Perf. So I put the land on top, assuming that we wouldn't get to turn one Tom. I'm pretty sure he has a fluster based on how this game is playing out. So we're just going to play land and pass. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to play the Landside Diamond there. Might be an oversight on my part. So if you haven't already, go to YouTube. C/The Epic Storm. Subscribe, like, whatever they call it. I'm trying to hit 1,000 people. Help me. Help you get free content. Just sign up. It's easy. So, post fetch land, Tom still has the ability to play another land from his hand. So if this is Thoughtseize and a Surgical, we're in really rough shape. Not playing the LED on turn 1 ended up being a very big deal. It's kind of biting me in the ass now. So that oversight is just, not good. Hey chat, what are you doing? You're not talking to me, so what are you doing? I don't know what an ice import is. Well, thanks for watching, Dave. Have a good night. Alright, so this seems like our window to win. I'll see you there, Dave. Good games, Tom. I am not aggro GGing him. He had said it to me first. I believe since the top bannings, we are now dead even. Cool. 2-0 in this league. Bringing us to 500 on the night. EMC. I don't know who this person is, but they probably fucking hate me. We've played, I think this is our like 8th time in the last like month and a half, and they haven't beat me yet. They play a lot of Blue White Stoneblade. Alright, I will keep this. Yeah, post-game etiquette is things that I think were taught when I was younger by older players, where like it just doesn't happen as often as it used to. For example, the guy that I won the SCG booster with didn't know his bad manners to lay your hand on the table after a match. I'm like, yeah, you're pretty much showing your opponent that you still got all these. Like, it's just rude. Like, you don't need to do that to your opponent. And I find that it happens a lot more with locals than it does with like grinder types. And we're gonna shuffle this. This doesn't actually help us at all. Maybe. I don't know how good that that brainstorm is. Yeah, we're just gonna shuffle. I prefer not to shake hands. People are gross. I mean, it's supposed to be the loser, but, like, I don't know. I don't like extending my hand. Like, I'll say, like, good games or whatever, but, like, I'd just rather not touch other people. I also think that people get a little bit too butthurt over that sort of stuff in general. Well, I don't refuse to shake. I would just prefer not to. That was a good draw. I did this wrong. Oh well. I'm not exactly playing great tonight. We can turn one of these Burning Wishes into a Massacre to get rid of the Batterskull. Field of Ruin is interesting. I saw that Anurag also had it in his list from this past weekend. So we're Mana Source away from being able to Ad Nauseam and Thoughtseize in the same turn. I think I'm just going to cast the Burning Wish here. Get past In Flames' backup. Sure. 2 basics, and everyone always wants to cut the island. Alright, so we can imprint, so this should be fine. Past in Flames, the ultimate imprint on Chromox. Slow that down a little bit. And that is enough to murder our opponent. Alright, so post board. I feel like our opponent has brought in like meddling mages and other weird shit against me in the past, so I'm gonna bring in 2 copies of Echoing Truth. I'm just gonna board out Ponder. The alternative is boarding out Rite of Flames, but you want to stay fast in these matchups. Ponder's really just a filler card. Yeah, I was looking at the Channel Fireball events page today, Jeff, and it seems like every GP is just slotted to have RK Post and then Pool, and then that's it. So I'm hoping as some of these GPs get closer, they announce more artists, because right now it's going to be very, very, very sad for 2019. We're going to ship this one. Slightly better, but not by much. Brainstorm was a good draw there. Triple AK is kind of funny. So I like taking Force here over Stoneforge, because this way they have to decide if they want to apply pressure or cast a cantrip. And now we're going to play B. Buzz, buzz. Brainstorm is a decent draw there. I honestly don't think I like casting Brainstorm here. I think it's better to AK, unless they have Terminus in their deck. Wow. Look at us. We kept that dog shit hand, and here we are winning on turn 3. I mean, it required a fair amount of luck. I'm not saying that like this was a skillful game by any means, but I'm just a little shocked that we're here right now. We still get a land drop as well. We'll just stop there. Cool. 3-0 in this league. I believe this is the first time tonight we are over 500. Yeah, Hopper Gerper is really good. People think it's a joke, but it's not. So the thing with Hope is it's just so much easier to cast than Xanadstorm. And with TS, you're only looking for 1 or 2 turns anyway. So, like, you don't need all of your spells to resolve throughout the course of a game. So, yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy if we 10-0'd, considering I burned 2 league ticket or 24 tickets tonight. I've been told that I should start opening up my chest because apparently the expected value is now higher than what you can sell them for. I faced this person earlier tonight. We were on Grixis Delver and I lost 0-2. Let's see if we can get some fucking revenge. Yeah, let's keep this. This is fine. I'm gonna hold off on the Thoughtseize. I believe this was the person playing 1,000,000 copies of Stifle as well. So people have told me multiple ways of muting Messenger, so that way I don't get any sounds. It just like never happens. So you can right click on the tab and click mute site. And then there's also a setting under your chats for turning off sounds. Neither actually fucking work. Exactly, Mario. Like, my only thing is, does my opponent have double Stifle? He had triple game one last time I faced them. Now we just have all the mana. So, because they have double days, we can't actually kill them right now. Well, that was cool. Same, we've been boarding against Delver all night. -1 tutor, -1 wish, +2 empty. Helps you fight against Cabal therapy and surgical. Surgical is a little more relevant than therapy is nowadays, but it could still happen. I'll keep this. Boo. Romario, I like it is an out. It's something nice to have. That's a really good hand. And our opponent decided not to attack us. That was awfully nice of them. Or was that land last turn? Honestly, it'd probably be fine to just force surgical there, just for the goblins. Or for the elementals. Alright, so we're just gonna go get all 4 Lotus Petals. I don't think 8 Goblins wins this, but see what we can do. I think we might let Mario down and not have a perfect 10-0. So they don't have that anymore. We could go get another empty post-combat. Alright, so here we can get another empty, or we could just get tendrils. I think I want tendrils. In case they end up clogging up the ground with elementals. I think our opponent might have drawn Bolt. Or that. So we need to draw like a ritual. Wrong ritual. No, we're just dead. I left myself dead to something I knew about. All they have to do is Pyroblast. Alright, game 3. Let Mario down. This hand is very good. This hand can empty turn 1 through a force. I don't think it really matters. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to cast Ad Nauseam, so I think imprinting it for Infernal Tutor is just a better play. Let's hope this is good enough. Yeah, Romario, it was a close call. Well, they could have like electric courier casualties here, which would be unfortunate, but is what it be. Cool. 4-0. Another shameless plug. If you want something sweet, you should check out the Epic Storm baseball tee. It's probably my favorite item in the store. They run a tiny bit small, so I would recommend ordering one size up if you like your clothes tight. Yeah. It's a really nice t-shirt material. Definitely a higher quality than the average t-shirt. One in 56. Do like the Power 9 count as one of the 56 cards you can open? Because I opened up a Time Walk like 2 weeks ago, and Time Walk was like 2 tickets. This hand is bonkers. Well, that's not good. This never leads to anything good for me. Oh yeah, we're gonna black belch him. I'm just gonna feel really dumb when they pitch SSG and then Warping Whale us. Just getting black belchered. Like an actual emote of crutches? But what are they going to prop up? Is this like Thalion taxes? Nope. It's just regular Eldrazi. Nice burn, Lawrence. I like it. It's sad that a possible 5-0 is the only thing keeping our win rate this high. And as always, a board I'll ponder against prison strategies. I just don't think it's what you want to be doing on turn 1. You'd almost 100% of the time rather be casting a discard spell or trying to win the game. Our opponent is mulliganed. It's sad that I almost want to keep this, but I'm going to ship it. And I'm also going to ship this. Put that on top. Sure. We just need our opponent to follow this up with not doing absolutely anything for the rest of the game, and we'll be fine. So Brainstorm was actually a fairly important draw here. What this Brainstorm will allow us to do is possibly hide our Echoing Truth from a theoretical Thought-Knot Seer. Alright, we need to defeat our opponent drawing a land for just this turn. Theoretically, we also need them to not have Warping Wail, but can't play around everything all the time. There's an SSG, so here comes the Thought-Knot. Or another Thorn. I think I'm going to respond. I'd rather trade this Rite of Flame in for a possible land. Didn't really want to Thoughtseize there. We're still in this for a mulligan to 5. No, Lawrence, sorry, I just saw your message. Basically, you just don't have enough resources to do anything if you take that line. Like, I'm not even sure if this is going to be enough based on what we draw. Alright, that will be enough. So we're at 8 life. We can empty for 12. Or, which probably loses to a Smasher off the top. Well, I guess an empty for 12 races Smasher. They get empty for 14 because we can tutor chain. Or we can ad nauseam with 1 mana open, and we have not played a land. We still have all of our zeros in our deck. Land and all zeros versus empty for 12. I don't actually know what the right choice is here. Because like they probably have like 1 to 2 ratchet bombs. And probably 1 to 2 all's dust. I think I'm just gonna tutor or Burning Wish empty. But the ad nauseam line is like super close. I know that might seem crazy, but when you have all of your zeros in your deck and a land drop, it's a lot higher than you think. My only concern is if you reveal empty, you pretty much just like guarantee lose. And there's the Smasher. We're just going to throw a 5 in front of the Smasher. And we'll take the 3. I think next turn we're going to leave 1 back just so we don't lose to another top deck Smasher. Alright, so now we're going to swing 8. Oh, I left myself dead to Smasher anyway. That was dumb. Oh, it's too late. I don't know what I was thinking. So if I don't want to leave myself dead to Smasher, I need to swing 6. So put them to 6, and then I can swing out next turn. That was really dumb of me on the last turn. It's just a little late. Boom. 5 and 0. Pretty cool. We also won that game on a mull to 5. Alright, so should I crack them or should I save them? I've been told recently that the EV is higher in opening your chests, but I kind of don't believe that shit. Lawrence, you get to decide. Am I cracking them or am I saving them? Alright, Lawrence says save them. Mario wants me to open them. I'm torn. I'm like Natalie and Bruglia or whatever her name is. Alright, we'll crack a few, see how we do. Garbage. Garbage. Alright, this is making me not want to open them. This is pretty terrible. Okay, I've opened up 4. They were all awful. I'm done. Alright, well, thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Epic Storm. We're trying to hit 1,000 people. Yeah, I don't have a couple hundred to crack. That's okay. Alright, well, once again, thank you for watching, and have a good night.